Cadillac has been on a massive new product binge, and I'm at the 2019 New York International Auto Show, and this is the latest addition to the lineup, an all-new replacement for the CTS and ATS. This is the 2020 Cadillac CT5. Let's take a first look. So as a replacement for the CTS and ATS, this is going to fill a pretty big gap in the Cadillac lineup. And honestly, the ATS and CTS were amazing performance luxury sedans. So a replacement, well, that's got some pretty big shoes to fill. You can see the design of the car looks like an evolution of the current generation CTS. Honestly, CT5 is so close to CTS that some of you may even confuse that. It's got kind of the latest design signature of Cadillac, this bold 5-point grille that mimics what we saw on the XT4. This particular one is the Sport line, which gives you kind of the black mesh finish. Full LED headlights are going to be standard across all the CT5 models. It has that signature Cadillac LED running light that goes from the top of the fender down to the lower front fascia. You have an LED turn signal. There's more of these fake vents over here, along with this black front diffuser that kind of makes this car look a little bit more aggressive. But overall, it looks a lot better in person versus in the photos. I think the car has a really great presence to it. It's just a very large car. So in terms of replacement for the ATS, this is more like a CTS replacement. Now, being the Sport line of this particular one, you're going to see red painted brake calipers, which are Brembo branded. These are going to be exclusive to the Sport model. It's riding on these 20-inch wheels, which look great. I like the multiple spokes with the kind of platinum graphite finish to it. It looks good with the red painted brake calipers and this silver paint that this one has. Now, at a wheelbase at 116 inches long, it's actually 2 inches longer than the current generation CTS, but it's about 2 inches shorter at 193.6 inches long. So again, this is a tweener car. It's sized as a 5 Series BMW, but it's supposed to be priced like an ATS. At least that's what Cadillac says. They didn't have final pricing for us just yet. Now, at the rear of the vehicle, you can see a couple of things. The taillights kind of mimic what we've seen on some of the newer Cadillacs, like the refreshed CT6, where it has this kind of interesting little area that kind of expands outward. They're full LED taillights. The Sport line also has a nicely integrated rear exhaust. And you can see here, CT5 badge. It's so awfully close to CTS. So some of you may confuse that. It's a little bit of a confusing name. Now, you're also going to notice this other badge here, 350T. That has nothing to do with the engine. It's not a 3.5 liter engine. This one's actually a 2 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, but that is going to represent the torque figures in Newton meters. There's also a 550T badge, which will be for the 3 liter twin turbo V6. But overall, the design looks interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but let's take a look under the hood and see what this vehicle's packing. So I wanted to show you guys underneath the hood, but Cadillac says these are pre-production models, so they want me to actually popping the hood. But I did want to show you this one. This is a premium luxury with the 3 liter twin turbo V6. Now, the gray Sport that I showed you earlier was a 4-cylinder. This has the company's 3 liter twin turbocharged V6 from the CT6. It makes 335 horsepower in this application and 400 foot-pounds of torque. This is the one that has that 550T badge on the back. It all goes out through a 10-speed automatic transmission, which the two engines use the same transmission. The 4-cylinder has a 237 horsepower and 258 foot-pounds of torque. It's basically that same engine that I showed you guys in the new Cadillac XT4. Now, Cadillac didn't actually say the fuel economy just yet, but I am happy to see the fact that a twin turbo V6 with all-wheel drive is going to be included in this mix. It's really going to make this car stand out, although I am a little sad because the engine in the CT6 makes about 404 horsepower in the top four. So stepping into the interior of the CT5, I want to first talk about the door handles on the outside because they're kind of electro-hydraulic. You just push a button and they pop open, kind of like what you get on some Lincoln products. But hopping into the interior of the new model, you can see Cadillac definitely got a lot of flack for the previous generation CTS and ATS. They just didn't age well. Q was just so universally hated. This new interior definitely is a huge improvement over the previous generation. It still kind of has that cut and sewn theme with the actual leather stitching on the dashboard, on the door panels here. I am seeing some nice new additions. There's some red stitching that you get on the Sport trim. The seats, I love the two-tone on the seats with the kind of white inserts with the black bolsters, the red stitching. It just really stands out. You also have some carbon fiber throughout the interior. I'm not sure if it's genuine, but I do like the look of it with the red accents. It's on the door panels here, and even on the door panels here, there's some metal speakers for the Bose audio system. So overall, you can tell Cadillac is really trying. Now, in terms of the infotainment system, there's a new 10.3-inch display here, which looks fantastic. It's kind of adopted that tablet-style screen. It's larger than what you get in the XT4, but about the same size as the current CT6. This is the latest version. As you can see, it does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's rather snappy and quick to use. This one here seems to be working a little funky, but again, this is a pre-production model. The steering wheel, it's got a power tilt and telescoping function. The gauges look like they were lifted straight out of the XT4. There's some paddles on the wheel. Some of the switchgear in here, I have to say, kind of reminds me of a Chevy product. I would like to see Cadillac kind of move away from this, but I love the fact that there are now hard buttons brought back into this interior. They make it look nice. There's wireless charging, 2 cup holders here, and this controls the 10-speed automatic. You can also control this from this controller here if you guys don't want to use the actual touchscreen. Now, in terms of the safety equipment, this is now the second Cadillac model to get Super Cruise. Finally, before you had to get the CT6, it's going to be available in 2020 on this model, and then Cadillac says it'll be coming on future models, so you're going to have to wait to get the Super Cruise option. There are basic forward collision alert and lane keeping assist. That's going to be standard, so the Super Cruise will be kind of an addition. But let me hop into the back seat really quick and see how the space is in this vehicle. So the back seat of the CT5, as you can see, because it's more in line with the CTS, has pretty good amount of space compared to most of the compact car competition. This is more like a mid-size car. They didn't have actual official legroom, but I'd say the legroom here is maybe just under 37 inches. I'm 5'7". There's a fairly good amount of space. There is a large hump here. You have 2 rear seat vents. You have a USB-C and an actual regular power outlet. Back here, the materials are practically carried over, so overall the back seat is going to be usable for most people. It'll be unexpected. It's all going to depend on the price of this vehicle. Now, Cadillac didn't have full pricing yet, but when the car goes on sale in the fall, they did say it'll be priced a little bit more, or in between the ATS and the CTS. Those vehicles started around $38,000 and $46,000. So a low $40,000 starting price would be a really good place for this thing to start at. I'm just wondering what it's going to be at the top end, because Cadillacs lately have been getting much more expensive. So it's really going to come down to how this vehicle drives, if it actually is worth the price tag that they've been asking for their newest models. For Redline Reviews at the 2019 New York International Auto Show, I'm Sofyan Bey.